on the face.
Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Lamar Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. We are finally here. Game night, Saturday night football under the lights at Lambeau Field as the 7-8 Baltimore Ravens come into Green Bay, Wisconsin to face the Packers, who are 9-5-1. We got a 7 p.m. Central kickoff. That was my mistake. I didn't realize that. I thought it was 7:20. So we went ahead and just jumped the show up and went ahead and went live. So hopefully everybody's having an awesome day. Welcome into the PTA pregame show. Appreciate you making us a part of your festivities here. Now we're going to dive into all kinds of information. We're going to talk about the inactives list. We're going to hit a little bit of the pregame preview, I guess you could say. We'll talk about the team's rankings. We'll talk about a little player prop betting, all the everything in between here. And we'll also show you a little PFF preview if we can too, kind of look at the updated lineups as we're getting closer to kickoff. We just had the inactives release, so we'll get into that first. But before we do, if you would, do that YouTube stuff for us. Hit like, hit subscribe, click the bell icon so you're notified when we go live in the future. We appreciate y'all making us a part of your pregame festivities here. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you talking Packers on a daily basis. So if you're looking for that type of fan-driven Packers content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you know when we do go live like this in the future. Like the post-game show this evening, immediately following the game, we'll be giving you guys instant reaction, going through the box score, and maybe a little bit of press conference information there as well. So got Jacob joining me here from Wisconsin. I'm down here in Tennessee. We may have Emilio and Tim joining us as well. Jacob, how you doing, big dog?
Man, I'm doing very, very well. More nervous than I should be for this game. Not sure why, but I got the butterflies rolling right now. Hope everybody in the audience had a great holiday, a great Christmas. I don't know, Clayton, we briefly touched on it. Did you have a good Christmas, sir?
Oh, man, had a great Christmas. It was absolutely awesome. The problem is we had a bunch of people here at the house, and now your boy's sick. So anytime anybody other than Mandy comes into the house, seems like I get sick. So we're going to be battling a little bit of a sore throat on this show, and hopefully it won't sound like nails on a chalkboard. How was your Christmas, man?
It was good, man. I didn't do much. Just absolutely was blessed and felt what's your go-to? Do you have a Christmas movie that you watch every year, or is there like you don't really do that?
Yeah, we've got several. A Christmas Story is always.
You say we. Mandy decides what's on the TV. Come on,
Mandy decides everything in my life. She has for coming up here January 7th for the last 25 years. She has made every decision in my life. So, but yeah, no, Christmas Story is usually on the TV, but our go-to leading up to Christmas, in my opinion, is Home Alone, Home Alone 2. Love those two.
There you go.
My favorites. Nothing like seeing a couple robbers get their brains bashed in, right? All for whatever 2 hours or hour and a half of a movie. But yeah, that's a go-to. Do you got one? And don't say Die Hard either.
No. I love the Home Alones as well, but I also, dude, it Muppets Christmas Carol. That's mine.
Oh yeah,
it's really, really good.
That was the big hit this year. I bought Mandy an advent calendar. I think that's what it's called, like the 12 days of Christmas. And every day goes by, you open one up. Usually get them, got the chocolate in them. These had these like handcrafted, stitched Muppets Christmas Carol characters. They were really, really cool. So that was the hit this year. We really enjoyed that. So she loves that. That one has a special place in her heart for sure. As her great aunt who practically raised her, that was something that they had kind of together every Christmas season. So pretty cool. So that's funny that you mentioned that. But with that being said, let's get into some Packers talk. Let's dive into it all. First things first, let's get into the inactives list as they released just a second ago. Paul Brettel tweeted it out. Evan Williams is active. Let's freaking go. We talked about him leading up through the pregame last week in Chicago. How it to me looked like he was healthy last week, to be honest with you, but they held him out just to be a little bit, cautionary there. And the big news here, in my opinion, Jacob, in the inactives, obviously Jordan Love. We talked about it all week long. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? We broke the news yesterday that he was officially ruled out. Colin Oliver is going to be inactive. I kind of thought we would see him tonight, but the big one is Zach Tom. So we talked about Evan Williams and Zach Tom. Evan Williams had like a 1 to 2 week return label on him. Zach Tom, people were mentioning 1 to 3. That looks like that's going to hold true. I think he'll be back next week if there's anything on the line. However, as we know with the playoff implications here, if the Packers lose tonight, they're already in as the 7th seed. If they lose tonight and they can't win the North, we may see them sit the starters next week and get everybody healthy, right? That could possibly happen. But nonetheless, Zach Tom is out tonight. Colin Oliver, Jordan Love, Savion Williams are going to keep him shut down tonight. Nazir Stackhouse, and of course, Baron Sorrell is also out. So those are your inactives for this game against the Baltimore Ravens. We'll jump over to the Ravens side here in a minute and talk about Lamar Jackson update and all that. But how do you feel about the inactives here, man?
Yeah, I was pretty excited to see Mr. As Jen said, little baby Micah, as he's been deemed, Colin Oliver. I was actually very excited to hopefully see him get into some extended play, but it doesn't obviously look like that's going to be the case. Not quite sure what's going on with Baron Sorrell. Not sure if you know anything about that. Really kind of liked what I've seen out of the young guys like Savion and Nazir Stackhouse. Do I wish I could see Savion a little more? I definitely do. And then obviously with Zach Tom and Jordan Love, I mean, those are absolute puzzle pieces. I mean, keys of your franchise, you know what I mean, right there, that aren't playing. And to your point, I mean, yeah, it's we already kind of know our playoff seeding right now, and it's quite crazy to think that we could actually still win the North, or we could be a 7 seed. That to me is just, it's one of these. This has been a weird year where it feels like that things are just completely out of grasp, and then at the same time they're like still right within striking distance, and that's kind of crazy. This whole NFL year has just been completely insane, in my opinion. Think about it. I mean, no Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, right? Like no Joe Burrow. No, it's just it's a weird year, man. And all of the injuries and all of the kind of craziness that's happened to. I'm going to try to stay upbeat. I know that's what we do on this podcast. The second we left Tucker Kraft, or that we lost Tucker Kraft, I thought inside my heart of hearts, I'm like, this is going to be the worst. It's going to be the worst year ever. And all of a sudden, here we are. We could still be. Can't we still? Correct me if I'm wrong, Clay. Can we still be a 2 seed or a 3 seed?
Yeah.
If everything works out.
If everything went our way, we could be as high as the 2 seed. If everything went awry, we could be as low as the 7 seed. And again, man, the way I've looked at it, Jacob, is, I mean, you kind of alluded to it. You look at all the injuries that's happened. You talk about losing Tucker Kraft early in the year there, right? Jaden Reed losing him week 2, and then you finally get him back. Christian Watson starting the year on IR. You lose Micah Parsons to the IR. You lose your starting center, Elton Jenkins, the IR. Like, you get to the point where you're going, okay, man, this is a little too much to overcome. But then you look up, there's 2 weeks left in the season. You already clinched the playoff berth. It's like, how blessed are we as fans that it's like everything that could have went wrong this year, right? Jordan Love's missing this game, where we thought we'd be battling for our playoff lives in week 17. And now all of a sudden you look up and you go, no, he already clinched. Don't worry about it. You got 2 weeks to go, but you already clinched. It's just pretty cool. It seems like every single year we look up and it's just almost a guarantee that Matt LaFleur's got these Packers in the playoffs. And I think that goes unnoticed way too often, in my opinion. But in terms of Baron Sorrell, I just did a quick comb through social media. What I'm seeing is a surprise scratch. So I don't know if anybody has any information there, in terms of details. Maybe it's the sickness that's going around and he just caught it. That could have been the case, right? Because it's definitely tearing through the entire locker room there. So, again, that's your inactive list as it sits right now. It's going to be a tough game. Now, obviously, Baltimore, they're banged up as well. And we'll just jump into their injury report here as they got their inactives were announced just a second ago from Adam Schefter. And Adam Schefter put those out. Lamar Jackson is inactive tonight, so it will be the battle of the backup quarterbacks. No surprise there. They're also missing wide receiver Tylan Wallace, cornerback Keon Martin, tackle Joseph Noteboom, and defensive tackle Ioannis Peebles. You guys remember Peebles was one of the –
Remember Peebles, Tim.
Yeah, we were talking about him in the draft leading up, wasn't we? So let me see if I can grab my draft board. I'd like to know where he was at just for craps and giggles. It seemed like Peebles was one of those guys that I think was on the Packers' radar, but I didn't have him crazy high on the board. We had him with a score of 110. So somewhere.
Where was he out of again? Virginia Tech?
What's that?
Where did Peebles play? Virginia Tech?
I thought it was
Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had a 110 score on him, which means, anywhere from 100 to 120 is right around where we had the value of that pick. So nonetheless, we won't see him tonight. But Lamar Jackson being out in this game is going to be – that's a big deal, obviously. So you're going to get the battle of the backups, Malik Willis versus our boy Snoop Huntley. And both of these guys are kind of cut from the same cloth. The different thing about Malik coming in for Jordan Love is our offense kind of changes, right? We go from a pocket passing majority of the time offense to, all right, now let's run some zone read, a little RPR mix in. You almost go run heavy, and you don't see a whole lot of bombs from our boy Malik Willis. However, on Baltimore's side, their offense doesn't change a bit. Like Snoop Huntley is built very similar to Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying he's at that level in terms of skills, but they've got the same archetype, if you will, right? So that's something that's going to be really, really interesting to see how whether they miss a beat or not, which I honestly don't think they will. And that's not a knock against Lamar Jackson. It's just Lamar Jackson's been banged up most of the year. So how do you guys feel about Snoop Huntley versus Malik Willis? Man, I think these are two quarterbacks that could potentially be playing themselves for a contract here this offseason.
Two of the best backups in the National Football League. I don't even think that's up for debate. Certainly the upper echelon of backup quarterbacking. And I think it's going to come down to whose defense plays better, whose defense makes the least mistakes, who's ready for this game plan. It's going to be fun to watch, man, for sure. I think we're going to get a good game out of both of these guys, honestly. It's going to come down to execution on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. Tim, not sure if you remember, but Nick McSwain makes a good point. He says the last time that Huntley played the Packers, they scored 30. I believe we won that game 31-30.
Nice.
To your point, I mean, Green Bay has had themselves some pretty qualified backup quarterbacks throughout their tenure. And I just think that Malik Willis is just absolutely maybe in my opinion, he's the best backup in the league right now. I think Tyler Huntley would definitely be a close option to be second to that. I'm not sure exactly how you guys think, if that's true for your thoughts and everything else, but what a blessing, right? To have a guy like that. It does fall off pretty quick though, because if Josh Jacobs has to start throwing passes, that's not exactly what I want to do. I like Clayton too. I like the name, right? We like Clayton. Everybody here loves Clayton's, but
we don't.
Please don't. Please don't.
With a name like
I'm with you. I'm with our Clayton, saying that Malik Willis is going to, be auditioning for his next contract, and I think he's going to have a hell of a game tonight for sure.
Yeah,
I agree. Completely agree. Well, let's go to NFL Network real quick. Tom Pelissero was on NFL Network earlier. We'll just throw this image up. And this is what he had to say in terms of all the injuries, about 1 minute, 30 seconds long. Let's see what Tom Pelissero had to say, just kind of breaking down all the injuries and who's going to be playing instead.
Well, Red, I am told Jordan Love looked good. He felt good in practice this week, but there is a 5-step return to play protocol, and Love just was not able to pass all those steps in time. The belief is that if Week 18 is a meaningful game and the NFC North title is still at stake, then Love would be able to clear and be available for that game. However, if the Packers were to lose tonight, or if the Bears were to win on Sunday, then Green Bay would be locked into the number 7 seed, and they may well choose to rest Love and a bunch of other starters next week. As you mentioned,
it's interesting. I wanted to play that, and we'll finish the video in a second, but I want to play that because it's like, I mean, you can look at this one of two different ways, right? Like, okay, are you worried about your players being rusty, seeing that Jordan Love would not have played it? Let's say that the Bears do win tomorrow and Jordan Love doesn't play next week, right? If that happens, Jordan Love will have basically back-to-back bye weeks to get healthy. But also there's going to be some rust there, right? That you worry a little bit about that as well. But it is amazing to me how 1 second people are saying, man, it's so important to get that first-round bye. It's so important for the bye week to come at an important time and this and that. And then the second you get the bye week, then they immediately shift their focus to, oh, crap, they're going to be rusty. It's like, does it even matter? I don't know. But what's your all thoughts on that? Jordan Love potentially getting 2 weeks of rest. I thought that was interesting.
Well, like you said, it's kind of a blessing and a curse. I feel like Jordan Love does better when he has more reps. I feel like that sitting him that long could possibly have some cobwebs that grow on that arm. We've seen how he has to sometimes get in tune with his receivers. Sometimes it's just a tad bit outside or a little bit underthrown or a little bit overthrown, whatever the case may be. I love Jordan Love when he's dialed in. I really don't, I guess, enjoy the fact that he would be on that long of a sit. Obviously, I want him to be healthy, and that's the most important part, because I think Jordan Love being healthy is he's a franchise quarterback. That's what he is. The people that think that he's not, just you need to study the tape. You need to look back at the stats and understand that he's number 10 because of what, Tim?
Because he only throws dimes, man.
Abso-freaking-lutely. So I really do believe that he's earned that respect in this league. But, you know, to be honest, if you sit a guy that long, there's going to be some rust on there. I that's what I fear. So if we could get him back faster, I think that'd probably benefit the Packers organization, benefit him. But again, we're blessed to have a guy like Malik in the background here, being able to fill in when needed. I don't know. What do you think, Tim?
I'm not opposed to a little extra rest for J Money. I mean, he just got his bell rung. We know the non-throwing shoulder is still kind of sore. Whatever's going on with that left shoulder, still has the nagging, left hand thumb stuff going on. Maybe another week is good. I don't know. I will tell you this: if next Sunday in Minnesota is for the division, then I'd love to see him playing. But I'm not opposed to him, getting a little extra rest. I'm with you, Jacob. I think, he'd probably have to get back in the swing of things. There might be a little bit of rust, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think maybe more time might be good for him as we make the playoff push.
All right, let's continue on with the audio from this clip. Again, Tom Pelissero with the NFL Network.
Mentioned backup Malik Willis is expected to start. He's dealing with a right shoulder injury as well as an illness, but he was able to progress throughout the course this week. Good to go tonight. Should have a pretty full complement of the weapons around him as well. Running back Josh Jacobs off the injury report. He is good to go. Wide receiver Christian Watson listed as questionable, also battling an illness. I am told Watson is ready to roll tonight. As for Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson, he is officially listed as doubtful for this game, Brett. He has been dealing with a back contusion that was suffered a week ago. For Lamar Jackson, it's a situation where he's been in the training room the entire week getting treatment. He has not practiced since suffering that injury. However, he did make the trip to Green Bay, and as someone told me a short time ago, if he shows up to the stadium tonight and says, I can play, then Lamar is going to play. The Ravens are not expecting that. As of this point, barring a surprise, it is going to be Tyler Snoop Huntley getting the start in a win-or-go-home game for Baltimore.
So, again, Baltimore, man, they got every reason to go out and win this ball game, right? It ain't like they're playing this thing, cautiously. They've got to win if they want to have an opportunity to obviously have a chance to advance to the playoffs, right? Tony mentions in the chat, the Ravens already eliminated or a loss eliminates them, ? The way I understand it, the Ravens have to win out, and Pittsburgh has to lose the next 2 games for the Ravens to win the division, which is their only chance of getting into the playoffs, I believe. I don't think they have a shot at the wild card last I heard. So it's an uphill battle, no doubt. So, yeah, if they lose tonight, as Randy's saying here, they're going to be out for sure. So,
you said earlier on X, Clayton, right? We got to return the favor to Aaron Rodgers for helping us out, right? So we got to put belt to ass tonight against Baltimore.
How poetic is that, Tim? Like, honestly, isn't that awesome? I saw another stat. It was Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones. Both of them helped us get ourselves a little playoff berth right there. How freaking beautiful is that, man?
Absolutely. That was the tweet we sent out. It said last week Aaron Rodgers helped the Packers by beating the Lions. This week we have an opportunity to return the favor by knocking off the Ravens. Go Pack Go. Here we go, which is the Steelers hashtag with the handshake emoji there. It's pretty cool, man, being able to root for Jonesy. First time I've ever got to root for the Vikings with my nephew on Christmas. Really magical moment. We were just cheering our asses off, and then as soon as the game's over, it's like, all right, you go back to your corner. I'll go back to your It's funny how that works. But, yeah, that was really cool to and, again, man, this is just – I know it seems like it's a lifetime away and there's no chance it'll happen, but we're just a little bit closer to a Packers-Steelers Super Bowl. How freaking awesome would that be, man? It would be phenomenal. So, again, yeah, it's just it was cool to see Aaron kind of rising up, and he's playing pretty good football. It was also cool seeing him gift his offensive linemen those I don't know what y'all call them up there. I've heard them called four-wheelers, side-by-sides, RZRs, whatever they are, but cool little off-road vehicle that he gave his offensive lineman. Mina Kimes had a little bit to say about this backup quarterback situation as well. Let's see what she had to say on NFL Live about backup quarterback Malik Willis.
Yeah, I agree with Tim. I mean, we saw some, let's say shaky backup quarterback play yesterday. That's not Malik Willis. In fact, he's developed so much in Green Bay. It's been really impressive to see. And this is a big game for him with free agency coming up. He has the potential to get some attention from teams around the league. I think for Baltimore, it starts on the ground because he does add so much to this run game. They'll run zone read with him. They'll run power. He'll scramble out of empty. They'll put him under center. They did against New England a fair amount and run off of that. And then if you overcommit, he has the ability as a passer to punish you in the play action game. If you give him one-on-ones by selling out and stacking the box, he threw that beautiful go ball last week. You remember down the left sideline. So this is not a backup quarterback you want to overlook because, I just think he's been increasingly impressive every time I've seen him in Green Bay. And I also think Matt LaFleur does a hell of a job calling the offense for him.
Say it again, Mina.
Heard it from a fan right here.
So, yeah, and listen, I think the same thing can be said for Snoop Huntley, right? Just a solid backup. Like you said, Tim, I think y'all hit the nail on the head. You got two backup quarterbacks who could potentially be auditioning for an NFL team next year. If Malik Willis goes out there and he just lights the world on fire, he can make himself a ton of money this offseason. He really is. And I'm going to be pissed that we didn't offer him $5 to $7 million per for a 3-year deal with $10 million fully guaranteed. Not that I have hashed out any of the details on my spare time, but it would be absolutely awesome to have him as a backup the next 2 or 3 years, much like Chicago did with Tyson Bagent, right? But yeah, what do you got? How do you guys feel about Malik Willis here? Anything else y'all want to add to that before we move along?
I think like Tony's saying here in the chat, the playbook with Malik is so deep. And to your point earlier, Clayton, it's a different playbook, right? We know we're changing our approach offensively without Jay Money out there. And normally you're scared when you have a backup starting and you have to change the game plan and tailor a game plan to a backup quarterback. I'm not nervous at all about Malik Willis running this Matt LaFleur offense. And then I think on the flip side, like you said about Huntley in Baltimore, we know what they're going to do. Like, we know we have to stop Derrick Henry. We know what they're going to do offensively. The game plan doesn't change too much between him and Lamar when you compare it to, Jordan and Malik. So I think that's something that'll be worth watching tonight. Kind of interesting to see how it goes. But I have full faith in Malik. We trust, as we say on the socials, right?
That's right. Anything else you want to add there, Jacob?
No, I think that he is, if not the best, top 2, top 3 best backup quarterback in the league right now. For whatever reason, Tennessee didn't understand how to develop him and to make him into the type of quarterback that he is now. I was listening to some Packers podcast where they were talking about how it just is odd how he came to Green Bay and all of a sudden the fluidity of how he plays the quarterback position is just all of a sudden been great. Like Tim said, his legs are impeccable. The guy is just, he knows when to tuck it and when to run. But what I think is more underrated is that the fact that he actually he can sling that tater, man. He can throw that ball. He really does. And his release is a little bit unconventional, a little bit, right? But he just seems like, and that's where I'm not worried whatsoever. Like when it says that like Malik Willis is going to be the starting quarterback, blah, 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 the Packers are disadvantaged. I don't feel that. I feel like that if anything, that he just has a different type of quarterback play than Jordan Love. I'm not one of these guys that's going to say that he should be the starter, blah, blah, blah. I have friends and family that are those types of people. My brother loves Malik Willis to the point where he's like, he should be the starter. All right. That's not the guy I am right now, but I do respect the fact that he is absolutely a weapon. He's a freaking weapon, man. He is. And
I think to your point about unconventional release, I would call it compressed with which is, just a little bit more of a compressed delivery, which is what you want when you're running that, read option RPO kind of look.
Yeah.
I think it caters to his game, the fact that he can get that ball out so quick.
And Tim, like to the other person's comment earlier, like that playbook opens up so freaking wide because that guy, I mean, dude, I look at like he can run the triple option. You know what I mean? Like the guy is just so fluid with his fakes and what he does in the background and what he does in the backfield. He is just fluid. You know what I mean? Like he's just really, really good at what he does. And I half the time I find myself being like, oh, he's got the ball still. Oh, Malik's got the ball. Are you kidding me? Like, what is going on right now? Like, he's just smooth with the fake, bro. Smooth with it.
And that's important, right? It's one thing to run that play action or, you know, a read option or something. If you can really sell that, it's going to make, you know, the timing of the play that much better. You know, that defense has to believe what you're selling to them.
Right.
And if you kind of, you know, cut corners on your play action or your ball fakes, you can get yourself in trouble big time. And we don't usually see that with Malik Willis. We don't really see that with Jordan Love either, for the record. I mean, Jay Money can sell that play action as good as anyone else too.
Absolutely. And if you hear us talking about Malik Willis, some people are going, well, why don't Malik Willis start over Jordan Love? He's better. He's not better. He's not a better quarterback than Jordan Love. Now, he's got a different skill set. And when we talk about the playbook really opens up with Malik Willis, all the run action stuff, absolutely it does. But when it comes to the arm talent, Jordan Love has elite arm talent. Malik Willis does not have elite arm talent. He has a strong arm. He's got a quick release. He's not quite as accurate as Jordan. So, yes, the playbook opens up with the run, with the zone reads and the RPR looks and all of that, right? And like Mina said, going to an empty set and be able to run a quarterback draw or even a quarterback power. Yes, that opens up. But Jordan, there's two different things with Jordan. With Jordan's accuracy and his arm strength, he can make any throw on the football field. We see Malik Willis throw an out route. It was about a 10-yard out route. I think it was against Indianapolis last year. I could be wrong, at Lambeau. And I remember how surprised Matt LaFleur was, like, oh, that's a big-time throw. Like, it was like he didn't expect him to be able to get the ball out there. People take for granted those 12 to 15-yard out routes, and they definitely take for granted the corner routes outside. That takes a strong arm quarterback with elite accuracy to be able to thread the needle and throw those. Malik Willis can hit those from time to time. Like she talked about the go ball that was beautiful. That was a lollipop. That was Romeo Dobbs was running butt naked, right? Like there was you just got to put that thing up there for him. But when you're having to hammer that whole shot, or you got to hit the base in the Tampa 2, or if you got to hit one of those deep corner routes, I think Malik Willis has the arm talent to throw that, but I don't think he's got the power. He doesn't have really the accuracy to trust him to throw it in rhythm with anticipation and be able to thread the needle the way Jordan has shown he can do that. I'm telling you, man, when you open up the throws along the sideline at all three levels, which Jordan has done, that's when defenses really respect you. Now, maybe Malik can do it. Maybe he will get better at that. And we might see it tonight if Baltimore doesn't respect that aspect of his game. But I do think Jordan is a better quarterback. But like you guys said, I think it's a great point. Malik Willis being able to run the football, and now Baltimore's got to approach it that way. The problem, though, is Baltimore has been preparing for that every practice. They go up against Lamar Jackson and Snoop Huntley every week, right? Yeah. So if anybody knows how to stop that, it's going to be Baltimore, I would imagine. So
I agree. I think of that dart he threw in the Giants game to Scoot, extending the play and throwing an absolute heat-seeking missile to Christian Watson in the end zone. I think that's that factor that Malik kind of brings to the table, but definitely when you're talking about elite and comparing him to Jay Money, I think you're right. I'm going with Jordan all day.
And that throw, Tim, you're right. That is an unbelievable throw, right? Threading the needle, but it was a 15-yard throw, right?
Exactly.
When you're talking about throwing across
30, 40, 50 yards, yeah.
You're talking about a 25-yard corner route, and it's really in the air for 40 to 45 yards. That's a whole different ballgame, right? Because you obviously if you roll right and then throw back across the field, it can be a little bit longer. Hardy the Prophet, been a member for 15 months. Thank you so much, buddy. He says Malik came in and won us 2 games last year, one being a revenge game, much like the 1-10 played against the Steelers, and had the Bears till the script writer came in and got that money. Again, man, I've always rolled my eyes at comments like that, Hardy. It's been weird this year, man. It's been really, really weird. Not just Packer game, just across the board. So we'll just leave it at that. So I'm just here so I don't get fined. You know what I mean, Hardy? But I appreciate you being a member for 15 months, man. That's a long time. We greatly, greatly appreciate it for sure. So Yeah, that fine was ridiculous. Pace is talking about here. So, all right. So moving along here, I was going to try to go to a couple other things. I wanted to get into a little bit of the team rankings. When we talk about our PTA power rankings, we've got Green Bay tied for the number 4 spot right now with a 9.2 score. Okay, so just to give you guys the top 5, LA Rams 1, Seattle 2, New England 3, Jacksonville and Green Bay are tied at 4 now. Again, that's comprised of winning percentage, offensive scoring, defensive scoring, offensive yards per play, defensive yards per play allowed, and turnover margin. Okay, so when you look at the way these two teams match up, Green Bay sits at a 9.2 score. Baltimore is at a 15.2. Now, what's bringing them down? Let's start with their positive. They scored a lot of points this year. Their points per play, they're 10th in the league. Their yards per play on offense, they're 8th in the league, and that's with Lamar Jackson being banged up this year and getting a little bit of Snoop Huntley sprinkled in as well. Their defense, however, scoring defense is 15th, and their yards per play allowed on defense is 19th, plus their turnover margin is 20th. So if we go out and we win the turnover battle, as I say every week, you really, really like your chances of winning this ball game. Their defense isn't quite as good as it's been in the past. However, when we look at this, Jacob, we got a lot of backup offensive linemen out there, right? I mean, we talked about it all week long. You're without Zach Tom. You're without your starting center. That's probably going to make this defense look a little better than they normally are. However, if there's a quarterback that can make something happen there, Jake, it's probably Malik Willis with that, where he's been clocked over 20 mile an hour several times throughout his NFL career.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about earlier, I mean, just Malik Willis he's a different type of quarterback. He's not the type of person that's going to have to sit back and be in that pocket and be that kind of conventional quarterback, although he can do that, obviously. But I almost wish that they put a quarter in him, kind of thing. Like, get this guy rattled, quote unquote, and try to see if he can make plays with his legs, because to me, he's a difference maker, man. I really don't understand how Tennessee let this guy walk. I don't get it. Not sure what the coaching structure was at that point. I just feel like that he is a weapon, an absolute weapon in the NFL. And for him to be so young, to be so talented, I can't understand how the Tennessee Titans let this guy walk. And especially now are they still playing the guy that likes mayonnaise or whatever? Is that their thing?
No, they've got Cam Ward. Cam Ward's the number 1.
Oh, overall. Cam Ward, that's right, number 1 overall draft pick. Oh, that's weird. They're going to waste him. People are ready
to write him off that he's horrible. No, he's got a horrible team around this. You notice how Bryce Young came alive this year, and everybody's like, "Wow, Bryce Young figured it out." No, he didn't figure it out. They finally got a decent team around. Like, I think that's the same thing that's going on with Cam Ward down there. And I'm with you. I don't know what the hell they were thinking, running Vrabel off like that. And again, it was ownership that did that.
He run Vrabel off. That was my point. I was obviously trying
to do that. You're going to get your ass kicked in that.
Trying to be a smart ass, but I lived in Nashville for a number of years and I never understood how that franchise operates. It's just a dumpster fire, to be sure.
Hey, we got a clip of Jaden Reed doing his best Jacob in Nashville impression. Did you know that?
I'm not gonna lie, I was faded. I ain't gonna lie, I was faded. Like,
that's fact.
Fair. That's fair.
People stepping over him on the sidewalk at Hattie B's on Saturday morning, right? Like, who is this guy?
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
Hattie B's wrecked my life when we were down there. I ain't gonna lie. Nothing to do with the extreme dehydration with the Captain Morgan at the ball game. I promise you that.
Did you ever try the hottest one? You know, the hottest one they got? It's called Shut the Cluck Up.
I think we did have Shut the Cluck Up. And
it will burn your booty hole, brother.
It shut me the cluck up on the ride home. I'll just tell you that. You know what I'm saying? It was bad. It was real bad. Tim, talking about, when Malik Willis comes in the game, our run game we kind of lean on our run game. I think we would all agree with that, right? Like, it seems like we kind of press into the zone read and then play off of that a little bit more. Baltimore's run defense isn't bad. They're giving up 4.2 yards per carry. That's 13th best in the league. However, Green Bay's run defense is 5th best in the league at 4, just to kind of compare and contrast there. So they're fairly close together there, but I do like our chances of running on Baltimore tonight, especially with Malik Willis adding that aspect of the game, Tim, where you're winning the hat count, right? If you're essentially, when you run the zone read, you're making that defensive end either crash or contain, and whichever one he chooses, if the quarterback reads it right, you're a +1 in the run game, right? That's essentially how it works. How do How you feel about our chances of running the rock? Because it sounds like this is as healthy as Josh Jacobs has been all year, not all year, but since the New York Giants game too.
Yeah, and let's be real. Baltimore, say what you want. They got a, I'm not going to say damn good defense, but they have a decent defense, right? You can't write that Baltimore defense off, especially against the run. But that being said, we have to run the football today to be able to win this game. You have to have a run game going in some way, shape, or form, just to keep them honest. And to Jacob's point, I think if we needed Malik to stand in there and get to the second or third read of the progression and get the ball out, I think he can do it. I think he could pocket pass in a pinch, but our best foot forward is to get the ground game going and play action boot, read option off of that, right? The RPOs, the RPR looks, and let Malik do what he does. But we're not going to be able to do that without running the football. And, no Zach Tom on that O-line today. We got Nacho Libre sick as a dog. I guess he's going to go try and play some center for us. Hopefully he doesn't pull a Josh Myers and puke on the ball or anything today. But we're going to have to run that rock, E. Wilson, Josh Jacobs, hell, Malik Willis. What's the over-under for Malik Willis rushing yards? I bet you he's over 30 today. We've got to do it on the ground to open up things in that passing attack.
Yeah, I think it's a good point for sure. When you look at their defense, man, they got a solid look. Notice they put Kyle Hamilton in the slot. That's what it's at least what PFF is showing here with Kyle Hamilton. That's really weird. 279 snaps in the slot. So when they go to a nickel set, they actually put the top graded safety in the entire league, Kyle Hamilton, in that slot corner spot. Now, opposite of him is Gilman. You guys remember we were wanting to sign Alohi Gilman before we drafted Evan Williams. Well, when you look at these from a base standpoint in their base defense, that's a safety tandem that's played better than our safety tandem, and we definitely consider Evan Williams and Xavier McKinney a strength of our defense. So now in terms of the front here, with the front 3 or 4, they've got the 7th highest graded defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman in Travis Jones, 6'4", 338 pounds, former 3rd-round pick. He's gotten better every year. This year, having his best season at a 76.4. And then at the linebacker position, they got Trenton Simpson back there with a 70.5. And then you've got Roquan Smith with a 76.6, just about to pass his highest grade of his career in terms of PFF. So when you look at this defense, man, on the surface, you go, okay, they don't have a very bad run defense, right? And then you kind of look at the players individually. The cornerback room, to me, seems weak. However, when they do go to that nickel set and they kick Hamilton into the slot, really the only weak spots on the outside when you think about it. So I was going to see here real quick, too. Let's see what their pass defense looks like, and then we'll switch over and talk about their offense a little bit. In terms of pass defense, yards per pass attempt allowed, Baltimore is 16th, actually tied for 15th with Pittsburgh at 6.6 yards per pass attempt allowed. How do you guys feel about their defense here and how we match up against them?
I mean, they got their players, right? They definitely do. Like you said, they got their key guys and key spots there. When I think Baltimore Ravens, I think about defense, right? But lately this year, it seems like they're kind of hit and miss. Gone through some certain phases where defense looks like it's, the Ravens of old, and then other times where it looks like they're Swiss cheese kind of thing. I really do think that today we're going to have to – it's going to be a hard-nosed football game. I really do believe that. I don't know, man. Tim, what are your thoughts? I look at I feel like that we can exploit their secondary just a little bit, but like Clayton talked about, they got guys in there that can make money, make moves. They can actually, come around and come to fruition. I just feel like that for whatever reason, I feel confident today. What are your thoughts, Tim?
Yeah, I'm confident too. But to Clayton's point, I think, looking at the nickel for sure that there might be some opportunities to exploit them on the outside, but Hamilton in the slot is no joke, and their linebackers are decent and their safeties are decent. You've got to account for that, when you're looking at passing attack against the nickel. But I do think, again, you look at that line, got to run the ball, man. Soften up that secondary a little bit. Yourself an opportunity to attack in the air.
And when you look at their go ahead.
No, do you guys remember Kyle Hamilton was considered a late round draft pick because of the fact that he didn't have the RAS. Remember that? Mm-hmm. We talked about it on the podcast, and he was, I believe he was one of the guys that were actually in our upper echelon of people. It was like, Don't let the RAS and all that kind of stuff fool you. This guy's a good football player. And wasn't it him? And I think it was, who was the other guy from the Lions? Back-to-back years where we had two safeties where it's like nobody thought these guys could be the type of players they would be, but they absolutely came out there and just absolutely balled out. It was not Kirby Joseph, but Brian Branch. It was Branch, and it was Kyle Hamilton, because they didn't quite hit the measurables that people thought they should hit, and then they come on the scene. They're just like one of the best safeties in the freaking league. It's tough, but
yeah. Definitely. And there was a comment in here real quick. Somebody said, Joe Pack Joe said, ESPN was saying the last 4 weeks, Ravens defense has actually been near the top. When you look at their last 3 games in terms of scoring defense, so overall, they're 15th in scoring defense in terms of points per play, right? I apologize for the dog bark. I'll close this door here in a second. But over the last 3 games, 0.285. If you compared the last 3 games to that first column of the entire 2025 season, if that, in terms of how they've played the last 3 games, they would actually be ranked number 1 in scoring defense. Now you got to kind of shift gears and go, okay, who have they played, right? And that kind of comes into play a little bit. We won't go quite that deep, but I think that is an accurate statement there, Joe. It's not about what you've done on the entire year. It's, what you've done here lately for sure. So let's see here. With the super chat, Nate Dizzle, thank you so much, buddy. He says, interesting game tonight. Hard to predict, in my opinion. Let's give old Rodgers the gift of a playoff berth one last time. Purple Browns will be fighting for their lives. It won't be easy. Go Pack, go. Amen to that. Thank you for the super chat. Anything you guys want to add to that? We kind of talked about the Aaron Rodgers thing there, but we appreciate the super chat there, Nate. It's just so cool to be able to continue to root for Aaron Rodgers as long as he's not playing the Green Bay Packers. But what do y'all think about what we said there? I'm going to close this door. What do y'all think about what we said with the last 3 games? Obviously, Baltimore being right there at the top, arguably the best scoring defense in the league.
Yeah, I think it goes to what I was bringing up, when I first jumped on here, is I think this game's going to come down to whose defense plays better. We've got the battle of the backups. We talked about the different approach schematically that you're going to take, from our side. And then the fact that you're going to have Snoop Huntley out there basically running Baltimore's offense just like they would play if Lamar was quarterback. So it's going to come down to the fact that, Baltimore has been playing good defense, like you said, these last 3 to 4 weeks. And we've been playing good defense these last couple of weeks, right? Been playing pretty good. If we could play 60 minutes of football, I think we can win this game tonight. We've been guilty these last couple of weeks of playing like 54 minutes and 56 minutes and 58 minutes of football instead of 60. So I think if we get, a start to finish performance, especially on the defensive side of the ball, close the game out, and we can trust Mr. Malik Willis to put enough points on the board with this offense to go ahead and secure a win. But I think it's going to come down to the defense, man.
In terms of scoring defense on the season, the Packers are 6th in points per play. Over the last 3 games for the Packers, they fall all the way down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, somewhere around a 16 spot at 0.399. So if you took that 0.399 and threw, the last 3 into the overall 2025 rankings, that would put them in the 20 spot right there with the Chicago Bears. So they've definitely not played their best football these last 3 games in terms of defense, but you also kind of look at how that all transpired. You don't get the onside kick, you get a couple blown coverages. Yeah. It all goes under the defensive column, don't get me wrong. I just don't see it as a scheme problem. I see it as a 1 or 2 players, please, for the love of God, don't try to be a hero, just play your damn assignment type thing.
Yeah, especially in man coverage, right?
Yeah, 8-man coverage.
Can't freelance if you're playing man-to-man. That's why they call it man-to-man, right?
That's exactly right, man. So when we talk about their offense and how good they've been, right? Like that seems to be the strength of their team. If we pop their offense up on the screen here, so Tyler Huntley again, Snoop Huntley 73.5, Derrick Henry at 72.7. It was so weird last week watching them not use him. He dominated, and then they just took him off the field, and he wasn't hurt. He just put him on the sideline for like it seemed like the whole fourth quarter. It was just so strange. And everybody was talking about it. Chris Collinsworth was going, here's a guy on the bench. Like the whole time he was complaining about it. I was with him. They put him in the game. He ran through 3 people's faces. I think I want to say he scored a touchdown on the drive. They pulled him out and they didn't put him back in the game. Like, what are we doing? But nonetheless, man, their offensive line is strong. Could you guys imagine if the Packers had drafted Tyler Linderbaum at center?
Yeah, I can.
Another guy we talked about. Yeah.
We talked about drafting him.
Round 1, pick 25. He is a stud, man. Look at those PFF grades, dude. 74, 78, 79, 79. He is just an absolute dog. They will pull him a lot. So when they run the rock, they'll actually snap the ball, and he will pull as a center on a lead play. And it's really, really interesting to watch how they utilize him. You got Notre Dame's finest here, Ronnie Stanley, playing left tackle. Solid his entire career, 6'6", 315. They got some hog mollies up front. There's no doubt about it. And then, of course, at the right tackle spot, you got Rosengarten. Every time I see that, I see that name, I think of Rookie of the Year, that movie with the kid broke his arm.
Such a good movie.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
So, yeah, 66 and a 72. Round pick. So Baltimore knows how to draft offensive linemen. There's no doubt about that. So they're stout up front, man. They're stout up front. So again, when you look at the receiving core too, man, don't look now, but the ageless wonder DeAndre Hopkins having a hell of a year, 83.2, man. Still doing it. 12th highest graded wide receiver in the game. Now he's not going to take the top off the defense with blazing speed, but he is very manipulative with his route running. You know, he's a crisp route runner. He's got good late hands. He's got a big catch. He's always had a high catch radius, or a large catch radius, I should say. So DeAndre Hopkins is definitely a Tuesday player to watch for. And then you got Zay Flowers playing the slot receiver position here, 76, 82, 76. So he continues to play really good football. A little bit undersized, but don't matter when you're making plays. That's for sure. So again, he's more of that slot guy for them. What sticks out to you guys here with their offense matching up against our defense? And again, we kind of talked about, let me just give you this real quick, just so you know, total offense in terms of yards per play. All right. They are currently ranked 8th, right above us. We're not. They are 8th in yards per play. And then passing offense, yards per pass attempt, Baltimore is 8th. We are 6th. So we're right there on our heels there. Okay. And then running the ball, rushing offense, yards per rush attempt, Baltimore is number 1 in the league at 5.2 yards per carry. And the last 3 games, 5.9 yards per carry. Their running game has got it going on. But I feel good about our run defense. That's a matchup I don't worry so much about. You can't neglect it, don't get me wrong, but I feel like we match up okay there, right? The big thing for me is going to be stopping their passing game and their running game, because they get a little play action with Snoop Huntley, just like you were talking about, Tim, and you get someone like a Malik Willis or a Snoop Huntley on the edge of play action, whether it's a boot action or RPR look, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree with what you're saying too about our run D. I feel good about our run defense, as banged up as we are on that line. Ball King in full effect. Ball King rules tonight. We all know that Derrick Henry's a menace, but he's been Mr. Fumblerooski here this season. So I think if you can swat at that football, regardless, even if it's, Tyler Huntley running with the football, you've got to punch at that ball. That's your chance to create a turnover. And then when it comes to the weapons that they have, DeAndre Hopkins, what can you say about that guy, man? He, like you said, the ageless wonder, the contested catch king of this offense for sure. You have to play perfect when you're guarding DeAndre Hopkins, because you can play perfect and he's still going to catch the ball. If the ball's put in the right spot, he's going to make a play on it. We've seen it time and time again. So our corners are going to have their hands full, and big play Zay Flowers. I mean, that guy will chew up your defense if you allow it to happen. You've got to be extremely disciplined. And another guy that they will use in a multitude of ways, whether that's in the slot or whether it's to the boundary or even in the backfield. We've seen him run some of those orbit motion, zipper motion kind of plays, take a handoff, be a part of the running game as well as the passing game. And then, the wily veteran Mark Andrews at tight end. There's some guys you have to account for on this Baltimore offense. To my point earlier, if we play well on defense, it's going to give us our biggest chance to win this ball game. If we struggle in any way, shape, or form and can't get a stop, can't get off the field on third down, it could be a long night for us, because I'm not afraid of Baltimore, but they're no pushover. Teams are not their records, right? Any given Sunday or any given Saturday, as it is tonight. So we got to be on our P's and Q's defensively tonight.
And it is worth mentioning here, Jordan Morgan will start at right tackle for Zach Tom. Last week, he had a pretty good game, according to everybody pretty much on socials that grades the tape themselves. I know PFF had him at a 63.2 was his grade at right tackle last week. Way better than the 38.9 the previous week at guard. So we'll see how he shakes out here at right tackle this week. So, Jacob, you got anything else you want to add to that conversation there, Bo? Anything at all?
No, I think Tim pretty much spoke it pretty well there. The one thing I'll look at is that when you look at that offensive line, having 3 out of the 5 grading pretty well, that's going to obviously help your team. I long for the days of when the Green Bay Packers offensive line had 3 out of the 5 actually rating and grading in the positive. We're doing what we're doing. We're a playoff team, clearly. What could be even more unbelievable is if we actually had some offensive line play that helped our team, helped our quarterback. I shudder to imagine how great this team could be if Jordan Love had 1 extra second, 2 extra seconds. You know what I mean? Like, just like Emilio talked about, die a slow death. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just so that we don't see Banks just literally guarding no one, and we don't see Ryan just snapping the ball over his head, whatever the case may be. If we had a more complete team, I do think that we'd be in a better position right now. But hey, we're in the dance, right? We're here. We're ready to go. This is not the type of podcast that's going to be in any way negative. We're here. We got a key to the dance, and now we're going to dance. I'm going to bring the girl. We're going to get him going. You know what I mean?
You heard it from the fan right here. Bill Huber tweeted out, the wind is something to watch. Here's McManus from 65 to the south end, and he was short from 57 to the north end. So keep that in mind, all right? Looks like when they're going from left to right on your TV screen here on Peacock, when they're going from left to right, probably going to have a chance to hit long field goals. Going from right to left, going to be hitting a wall. But as we know, that could swirl, that could change by the end of the game, as there's some wintry weather moving into the Green Bay area. I want to say they were expecting, 5 to 8 inches here in the next 48 hours or something like that, Tim. Is that right?
Yep. It's not too cold just yet. I mean, we're still well above freezing with the temperatures, but that's going to change after the game tonight. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to affect football tonight at Lambeau, other than the wind. Obviously, the winds are definitely picking up. It was nowhere near this windy this morning, so it's already starting to change here. You could see this really affect the kicking game down the stretch, and might even affect coin toss and decisions. Which way do you want to go? How do you want to end up in the second half to end this ball game? So keep your eye on the kicking game for sure.
And the temperature was supposed to rise throughout the night until like midnight, I believe. And if you guys are wondering what the hell does that matter, the reason it's getting windy, when you get a cold front meet a warm front, that's what kind of creates some of that turbulence, right? That wind. So as those two fronts are clashing, that's what's going to pick the wind up. So I was hoping it would hold off a little bit until after the game, but now we're getting to the point where it's like, okay, the wind's already here, right? It's already a factor out there. So again, from left to right, anytime the Packers are looking to try a long field goal from left to right on your TV dial, you'll probably see them take a shot there. From right to left, you may second guess that. Of course, Matt LaFleur may second guess it anyway, right? That's for sure. So
I was gonna say, take the points, bro. Let's just promise me we do that. Just take the points, man.
Exactly. And then of course we got our QB2, QB1 tonight. Malik Willis out there warming up, letting that thing fly. The shoulder looks okay here. To me, I was a little worried about how he was going to look, because last week when he went out there on that last drive, man, it just looked like he was hurting pretty bad. I don't know. What do you see here, Tim? I think he looks all right to me, man. Quick. I love his quick. It's almost like a 3-quarter release. He's got such a quick release. And you guys know when we talk quarterbacks on this particular program, I talk about the 4 things that are most important to me are pre-snap read, post-snap read, quick release, and accuracy. I could care less if a guy could throw the ball 75 yards, right? If you could throw a 50-yard pass, you got enough arm strength to play for me, is the way I see that. Now, will it limit some of the deep corners and things we talked about earlier? Absolutely. But with Malik Willis, that quick release, I just love seeing that. Tim, how do you feel about it here? What you seeing here? You feel okay with the shoulder? It looks okay to me here.
I would agree. I mean, it looks like his throwing motion, right? He looks comfortable. you don't see anything extra after he lets that ball go. Sometimes a guy will do a little stretch if he's feeling any tightness or anything. But we're only watching one throw on loop. But one of the things, about that delivery, that compressed delivery, is his ability to change the arm angle on some of those short passes and, the leak or the check down. So I think he's good to go, man. And hopefully our offensive line can keep him off his ass today, which would be nice. And hopefully he can light up the Baltimore Ravens. I'm ready for game time, baby.
Yeah. And it looks like the starting offensive line here, Jacob, is from left to right. Rasheed Walker at left tackle. Aaron Banks is playing at left guard. Center, Sean Ryan, even though he's battled the illness. Right guard, Anthony Belton, and right tackle, Jordan Morgan, which we already mentioned. Darian Kennard is the 6th offensive lineman. Obviously, we'll be probably showing him out there in some tight end sets there as well. But anything you want to add to the Malik Willis talk, and just kind of give you the starting offensive line there, as Tim was mentioning, you got to keep Malik Willis off his booty cheeks tonight for sure.
Yeah, obviously nice to keep him off the booty cheeks. That's what we want to, right? Malik Willis is, as far as prospects is concerned, he is slated at 31.5 rushing yards. So they do think that he's going to use those legs, use that mobility that he has. Honestly, I hope he doesn't have to run that much. I really do. But I think that he is an underrated talent, with the fact Willie Beeman, with the fact that he is, I really think people sleep on the fact that he can sling that tater. He can throw that ball. Kind of like
He's a G.
He's a G. He's got a quick release. I feel like, again, I can't reiterate how much I think that Tennessee absolutely let an absolute stud go. I don't understand that. But he's going to come in here and he's going to absolutely face some adversity. And that's what the Packers, that's why they brought him in, because to come in and to fulfill a certain type of duty, to be the I don't know about you guys, but I thought that Jordan Love was going to be able to go this week. That was my initial thought, but the fact, what a luxury it is to think that we don't have to force Jordan to come back, because we know that there is another player that I want to say is better or anything like that. That's not what I'm going to say, but is comparable, and they can come in here and absolutely put a best 11 forward in that offense, to the point where I'm not worried. If anything, I'm more excited. You know what I mean? I'm excited to see how Malik Willis comes in and generals this offense. That's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, again, you gotta keep everything under control, man. You can't get too crazy out there. Control the ball game, lean on the run, lean on the zone read, and try to keep him out of harm's way too. When you do keep that ball on that zone read, get down. If there's nothing there, just slide, get down. Yeah. You know what I mean? Don't take any hits, right? That's going to be the big thing for sure. So,
unless of course it's 3rd and 1 and we need that yard. Get that yard.
Yeah, that's a different ball game, right? For sure. Got Andy Dubs with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says Malik will be missed next year. I hope he stays, but I know he won't. That's pretty much how I feel, Andy. Now you never know, right? If we're going to hold out a little bit of hope that maybe he hits free agency and the best offer he gets is, let's say a team offers him $7 million per. All right, I would be okay with matching the $7 million per. Now it comes down to guaranteed money, right? If another team says, all right, we'll guarantee let's say it's a 3-year, $21 million deal, and we'll guarantee $10 million. Do you feel comfortable guaranteeing $12 million, right?
Scared money don't make money.
I think it's something that is really, really underrated in the league, is having a good backup quarterback, man. And the only thing that makes me hesitant, Andy, is precedent, right? We have our own opinions, right? I voice my opinion. Tim does, Jacob does, Emilio does. But at the end of the day, it's all right. There's our opinion. Now let's differentiate that between precedent. When was the last time Brian Gutekunst paid a backup quarterback more than $2 million per? Hasn't happened I don't know if it's ever happened since he's been the general manager. So precedent says it's not going to happen. I think he's valuable enough to make it happen. That's for sure. So, yeah. And you're right. He does deserve a payday, as Eric Sutherland says here, man. I hate to see Willis go, but that young man deserves a payday. He does. He deserves all the best, man. He's just such a good dude and a good football player. So, and to go back, Jacob said, how do you let somebody like that go? Right. How did Tennessee let him go? What you have is a regime change, right? The front office, the general manager that drafted him, okay, they ended up firing him. When they fired him, he actually came from the Ted Thompson tree, and I can't remember his name right offhand. It's it's a very common name. You guys could probably look it up. When they fired him, and now they bring in another general manager. They're looking to get their own quarterback. So that general manager, you got to be the smartest person in the room. Well, no, I'm not going to sit here and play second fiddle and get credit for someone else's draft pick. I'm going to draft my own. They go and get Will Levis from Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
So they put Malik Willis on the back burner. Well, what happens? That general manager got fired, right? And then what did Brian Gutekunst do? When they heard that Malik Willis was available, he called his old buddy that they came up through the ranks under the Ted Thompson executive tree. How do you feel about Malik? Oh, he's a stud. All right, cool. What do y'all want? A 7th round pick? Run that damn pick down there. Don't even wait on the jet. Somebody run it down there right now, right? And that's how you end up with him. So that's kind of how everything happened. And again, it's common practice, right? When a new general manager comes in, they want their own stamp on everything. If they had kept Malik Willis, Tennessee might be in a little bit different situation. However, I'm telling you, man, the thing that it's not talked about enough, and it's kind of what Mina Khan's talked about there as well, is the fact that Matt LaFleur, what he's done, he doesn't get enough credit. The fact that he could take somebody like Malik Willis that was on the scrap heap. Understand, it wasn't just Tennessee, right, Jacob? Like, all 31 other teams said he's not worth a 7th round pick, and the Packers said he is, right? So, again, that man right there with the clean do-rag. Yes, sir. What do we call
it, baby?
Goot, that's what it was. So.
Really cool story that Packer Doug shared. He said, story goes that at the combine, Malik walked by a homeless person, opened his suitcase, and gave the man some clothes and some bottled water. That's actually 100% true. They did that when the draft was in Nashville. That story leaked out, and he didn't know people were recording him, and he literally did. He gave like literally the shirt off his back, gave the guy some money, I believe, gave him a fresh, pair of clothes, like to the point where like hey, there you go, Clay, man, shoot.
Right there.
He's a good man. That's what I'm saying. He's a good man. It
was in Indianapolis. He was in town for the combine.
Is that Indy? Okay.
And he walked by and literally opened up his suitcase right on the street. He didn't know nobody was filming. Right? This is somebody from some kind of coffee shop or something across the street. And just opened up a suitcase and gave him clothes right out of his suitcase. Yeah. Dude, he's a leader. He's a leader. He's a good human being. He's got a ton of talent. And I'm excited to watch him ball out next year. I just hope he doesn't land with an NFC North team. You know what I mean? It terrifies me to think, boy, what if they move on from J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota and all of a sudden Malik ends up there with KOC? I would be terrified.
No.
That would suck. So, yeah, pretty cool, man. All right. Anything else, guys? We need to wrap this thing up so we have time to get the pod up and get everything else ready to roll. Any parting thoughts as we get ready? We're just about, 10, 12 minutes from kickoff here.
Go, Pack, go, baby. Stay healthy. Stay as healthy as you can. Let's get a dub, but let's not get hurt any more than we already are. Get ready for this playoff run. But I'm looking forward to seeing our defense really step up tonight. Hopefully take some of the pressure off of our offense.
Yeah, definitely. Jacob, anything?
No, man, I agree. Nerves are high right now, although they shouldn't be. We're already in the dance, but I just want us, again, to stay healthy, like Tim said. I want Malik to go out there and just show what he's capable of. I think that'll be, again, a great product of what he can do in the NFL. As much as I wish, I wish we could keep the guy forever and just keep him in our back pocket, but it's just not going to happen. He's too good. So I hope that he goes out there, balls it out, ends up showing the NFL what he's capable of, and I hope he gets his comeuppance, if it will. That being said, go Pack, go. We'll see you guys on the post-game show. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody enjoy the game. And Reza in the chat says, great analysis, gentlemen. Thank you. Go Pack, go. Hey, thank y'all so much, everybody in here. I see iRock in here, Keyron, the whole crew. Appreciate everybody swinging through and making us part of your pregame festivities here. So if y'all would do us a big favor on the way out the door, smash that like button for us. If this was your first time tuning into the PTA postgame show, hit subscribe, click the bell icon so you're notified, and we will be going live again immediately following the game tonight. Win, lose, or draw, we'll be in here to talk about everything. We'll hit the box score. We'll talk about the playoff updates. As it sounds like Indianapolis, just a quick little note with that game that just wrapped up, Indianapolis didn't play in that game. It was the Chargers and the Texans. But the Colts started the season 7-1, and they missed the playoffs. Think about it.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
Tim,
I thought that'd be appropriate.
Wow,
considering it's Indy, right? I mean,
bro, absolutely perfect. He was the coach of Indy. Tim, did you know I was going to talk about that? You
Yeah.
did not. Did
no,
you?
I was just ready, man. You know,
Beautiful, man. So yeah,
good old Jim Mora.
Yeah, that guy, man. The best part of that is his son, Jim Mora Jr., saying that he would watch those press conferences and he would be screaming, watching in his house, going, "Dad, just shut up, please, shut up." So,
and then his dad says,
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
exactly right, man. Jim Mora Sr., he marched to the beat of his own drum. There's no doubt about that. So, all right, guys, we're out here. We'll see y'all for the post-game show. The link is already up. So if you'll just click on the YouTube page here, the channel for Packers Total Access, you'll see the post-game show link already up in there. You guys can hop in there and use that as a chat, okay? It works the same as this live stream did here, and we will see y'all as soon as the game's over. Everybody enjoy the game. My name's Clayton. That's Tim. That's Jacob. This is PTA. Go Pack, go.
Here we go.
Bye, guys.